Hey tribe, Sally here. Hope you're having an amazing and fascinating day. I know I am. Welcome back to another Monday Milepost Mailbag. It's episode 12 already. I'm pretty excited about that. It's also very early in the morning. My hair is still wet, and I just poured my coffee. Today is Monday, October 20th. And since I've been wrapping up my camp host season at Yellowstone, I ran south as fast as I could, and I've been soaking up the sunshine here in the desert, hanging out with friends that have a winter place in the desert. It's been nice to thaw out a little bit, and now that I'm parked somewhere stable, long enough to actually receive packages, well, let's just say there's been a bit of a shopping spree. So, you can expect some really fun unboxings and gadget reviews coming soon, running a whole spectrum of different things. And before we dive in, we crossed the 2,000 subscriber mark yesterday, so thank you all so much for being part of this journey. Your support, by watching videos, leaving comments, sharing them with others, is priceless. And, as if that wasn't enough to celebrate, today marks my 4-year Nomadversary. It is wild to think that it's been 4 years since I hit the road full time. Now, it was accidental when I left on this day 4 years ago, but it didn't take a whole long time before I realized that this was really where I wanted to be. There have been so many miles, so many memories, and so many lessons learned along the way. And I wouldn't miss a single one. In fact, oftentimes people ask me, what's your favorite place that you've been? And my answer is all of them, because even the ones that I may not want to return to, I am so grateful to have had the experience of being there at the time that I was there. So thank you for coming along on this ride and being a giant part of this journey. Just a quick reminder, if you'd like to help out a little bit more, you can also become a channel member for as little as $1 a month. Almost at $1 a day. You can do that too if you want to. You can buy me a coffee, or you can even send a postcard or a treat for Kit. You'll find all the details for how to be able to do any of those things down below and in the video description. All right, let's open up this week's mailbag right after I have a sip of this cup of coffee that I've been holding on to, because that was actually my very first sip.
Wake up with the sun in our eyes. Sally forth, no need for goodbyes. Journey calls, let's roll the dice. Every mile a new surprise.
All right, so from the video, Finding Ideal Camping Locations, and by the way, this is a throwback video. Elizabeth X3E8C said, very informative, thank you. Well, thanks so much, Elizabeth. That little short really was one of my earlier uploads. And it's always fun when one of those older videos still helps people find great camping spots. I really appreciate you taking a moment to say thanks. Stay tuned for future videos where I'll talk more about my evolving relationship with ChatGPT and how it's helping me spend less time hopping between camping apps. Of course, you still do have to double check what AI suggests so you don't end up on a campsite wild goose chase. And we'll talk about more about that as we move forward. From the, that was a lot of a comment for a little bit of a short, wasn't it? From Video Camp Host Off Duty, final thoughts, battery drama, and what's next. Paola and Argent said it was great to meet you at Yellowstone. It was great meeting you too, and getting to meet Argent. For those watching, he's a beautiful silver lab. Argent is a beautiful silver lab. I'd never seen one before. He's such a sweet dog, and they're such kind people. So thanks for saying hi out there in Yellowstone. Sorry, I'm not really talking effectively this morning. The sun is just barely up. And even though Kit was very interested in getting Argent to play with him, Argent only had eyes for his dinner bowl. Can't blame him. Same video, comment from Lorelin 1056. Thanks so much. I learned so much. Where do I sign up? I love your enthusiasm, Lorelin. You can check volunteer.gov There are a ton of great opportunities there, even though my Yellowstone position came through a different source. Camp hosting is such a fun way to be able to see new places and give back at the same time, and see new places for a longer period of time, more immersively than you otherwise might have. Maybe I'll see you out there one of these seasons, Lorelin. And for those of you that didn't see the entire Yellowstone Camp Host playlist, first of all, there is a whole playlist. You can go check that out. And secondly, the way that I got the Camp Host gig all started because Camp Host at the Indian Creek Campground looked up at the top of Henry and said, "Wow, you've got a lot of solar." I said, "Yeah, I do." He says, "Are you interested in camp hosting at Yellowstone at Lewis Lake?" I'm like, "Yeah, no, I don't think so, but thanks for asking." But then I got to thinking about it over the next couple of days, and I was still traveling with Barb, but the last things that we wanted to do were Yellowstone, Tetons, and Jackson. And so over the next couple of days, I thought, I can rearrange my plans. Why not? Because I was planning to go to the northwest corner of Washington and finish up my geographical extremes tour there. But I can do what I want when I want, so I decided to go ahead and do it. And I got in touch with the guy who's in charge of the campgrounds for Yellowstone, got his number, and we chatted, and the rest is history, as they say. So you can do it a bunch of different ways, and talking to a camp host at a campground might be a good idea to find out what it takes and what the duties are at that particular campground. From the video, exploring Montana's hidden history, Pictograph Cave, Pompey's Pillar, and Miles City. Montana Wife 4851 says, "I love Montana. I'm from Great Falls, and I always love it when I see people visiting my state." Oh, I agree. Montana absolutely stole my heart. Those wide open skies, layered history, it's just breathtaking. I think one of my favorite things was the boat ride to the gates of the mountains. That video should be coming up before too long. And Great Falls is such a beautiful part of the state. I can see why you're proud to call it home. We got another throwback here from the video, "What's It Like at Sportsman's Beach?" plus a playdate for Kit. This is a comment from Adele Sonora 9681. And her question is, where is Walker Lake? Hi, Adele. Walker Lake is near Hawthorne, Nevada, right along Highway 95. It's a gorgeous, quiet spot surrounded by mountains, and Kit gives it 2 paws up for walkability and stick collecting. He likes to walk on the beach. And, sunsets and evenings by candlelight. No, that's different. But you know what I mean. That was a short, by the way, that so there's been like 2 shorts that we've had comments on in this past week, which is pretty interesting, and that's part of the reason we included them today. From the Video Milepost Mailbag, episode 11, From Snow Days to Camp Host Reflections, Lisa Ross 7526 says, "You do such a lovely job with these Milepost Mailbags videos. They're always so enjoyable." Aww. Thank you so much, Lisa. That really means a lot. These mailbag videos have become one of my favorite ways to stay connected with everyone and share a little bit more of the journey. And so I appreciate you watching and coming back week after week after week for all of you. And Barb Connor says, sorry, hang on a sec. "I wish I had been there to help with the battery. I'm glad everything worked out and you're safe." A little context there if you missed last week's mailbag. And even though they're episode numbers, you can always go back and catch them because there's little tidbits of stuff that you may find interesting. In that episode, I shared that trying to get out of Yellowstone became problematic. I packed up, walked up to the driver's seat, turned the key, and the engine wouldn't start. That was not good. Did manage to get it started using the generator. That's a whole nother electrical thing that I'll include in the upcoming electrical video. But when I drove an hour and a half down to Jackson, stopped to get propane, it wouldn't start again. I ended up accosting a gentleman, thank you, Zach, at the gas pump at the Shell station in Jackson, who graciously removed my old battery, drove it, me, and Kit to the Ford dealer, where I traded that in, bought a new battery, came back, put the new battery in, and Bob's your uncle, I was on my way. Anyway, for your comment, Barb, you're the best. You've already helped me through more than your share of challenges out here. Think refrigerator debacle, think electrical issues all last year. Everything worked out fine in the end, and I learned a few things along the way. So I guess that counts as a win. From John CEI5V, he says, Sally, interesting observation that it's more efficient to heat an RV when the slides are in. I had not thought of that. I'll keep it in mind. And I say that's exactly true, John. When the slides are in, there's less airspace and fewer drafts, so your heat or AC doesn't have to work nearly as hard. It's one of those little efficiency tricks that makes a surprisingly big difference in colder weather. Of course, my first choice is just to avoid the cold weather entirely whenever possible. That's my first choice. From Angela Ann. Hi, honey, and our sweet kit. Good evening to you, my friend. Just started watching. Wanted to say I'm so happy you had a good person to help you with your battery. I watched the video, but I got called away before commenting on the video. Sorry, honey, a lot of duh going on. Having some brain squirrels here lately, but hope to be back soon functions. Hugs and lots of love from Angel and I. Give our baby lots of hugs here from us. And here in Texas, hugs to you, Angela. Angela, you always brighten my day. Sending Texas-size hugs right back to you and Angel. And yes, Kit got plenty of extra cuddles from your note. He's wagging just thinking about it. And here he is. Here he is. He's like, Mom, don't make me be on TV first thing in the morning. I'm just coming up for morning hugs. From the video, Little Bighorn Big Surprises. Hitting my 49th state in the RV. Shirley Scott 8467 says years ago the visitor center had cassettes that told the entire story as you drove. It told you where to stop and what happened there. This was in the late 1990s. That is so cool, Shirley. I remember seeing, not at that particular one, but at other locations, similar setups, either cassettes or sometimes they had like little handheld remotes that you pressed a button to play the story and whatever. I love hearing how the historic sites used to tell their stories. And a cassette tour is vintage magic right there. I wish I could have experienced it that way. It must have really brought the history to life. They still offer audio tours today, though now you scan QR codes or dial into a recording instead of popping in a cassette. Hi, baby boy. Can you say hi to the people? No, you just want to lick my hand? Okay. From the video, Testing RV Internet, How to Stay Connected on the Road, Adele Sonara 9681 says, Hi, great vid, but I'm a little confused. Are you saying that you have two different phones with two different plans, T-Mobile and Visible, or another, are you switching these plans on your same iPhone? So that's a great question, Adele, and you're not the only one who's wondered about that. Here's how I stay connected currently. I use Visible, which is made by Verizon, on my iPhone for unlimited talk, text, and hotspot data. Then I also have a T-Mobile business internet router in the RV. That's a home-style setup that has unlimited data for my computer and streaming. And finally, I've been using Starlink Mini as a backup when I'm boondocking off-grid, which is almost all the time. And I found that has been much more, it's been a whole lot easier actually than the T-Mobile over the past 4 months or so. I'll be doing a full RV Internet Setup 25 update soon to explain what's working best for me currently, because connectivity is kind of a moving target when you live on the road. Depends on where you are, what your circumstances are like, how much connectivity you need. There's a whole lot of stuff to consider. So I'm going to be diving back into that again because it does always change. And that wraps up this week's Monday Milepost Mailbag. So a big thank you to everyone who commented. Whether it's a quick question, a story from your travels, or a friendly hello, I really love hearing from you. And if you'd like your comment or question featured in next week's episode, just drop it below. Remember, every comment counts toward the Airmail Frequent Poster Shoutout. And this week, our Airmail Shoutout goes out to Adele. She seems to be honing in on places to camp and ways to stay connected on the road. Thanks so much for your comments, Adele. Who's going to get the shout out next week? You'll have to tune in to find out. Maybe you will be the one. And thanks again for helping me hit that 2K milestone. I'm so grateful to be traveling this road with all of you. Until next time, sally forth, and we'll see you down the road. Bye for now.